Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Green Podcast. Today, we embark on a journey through the annals of history, delving into one of the most pivotal and tumultuous periods the world has ever witnessed, World War II. As we navigate the intricate tapestry of events that unfolded during this global conflict, we'll uncover stories of resilience, heroism, and the profound impact that World War II had on shaping the course of history. From the battlefronts to the home fronts, this war left an indelible mark on nations and individuals alike. But before we dive into the details, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up if you're ready to explore history together, and don't forget to leave your thoughts in the comments below. Your engagement keeps this channel thriving, and we appreciate every like, share, and comment. Now, let's step back in time and unravel the chapters of World War II. A saga that echoes through the corridors of time, reminding us of the sacrifices made and the lessons learned. The causes of World War II were complex and multifaceted, involving a combination of political, economic, and social factors. Treaty of Versailles, 1919. The harsh terms imposed on Germany after World War I, as outlined in the Treaty of Versailles, contributed to economic instability and resentment, laying the groundwork for the rise of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. Rise of totalitarian regimes. The emergence of totalitarian regimes in Germany, Italy, and Japan, led by leaders like Hitler, Mussolini, and Tojo, who pursued aggressive expansionist policies, seeking to assert dominance and reshape the global order. Appeasement. The policy of appeasement by Western democracies, particularly towards Nazi Germany, allowed Hitler to pursue territorial expansion without facing significant opposition until it was too late. Expansionist ambitions. Germany's expansion into neighboring territories, such as the invasion of Poland in 1939, triggered the outbreak of war. Similarly, Japan's expansion in Asia and Italy's aggression in Abyssinia added to the tensions. Economic factors. The global economic downturn of the 1930s, exacerbated by the Great Depression, contributed to political instability and the rise of extremist ideologies, creating an environment conducive to war. Nationalism. Intense nationalism in various countries fueled a desire for territorial expansion and dominance, leading to conflicts over disputed regions. Failure of collective security. The failure of the League of Nations and the absence of an effective system of collective security allowed aggressive actions by totalitarian regimes to go unchecked. Militarization and rearmament. The militarization of Germany and other nations, coupled with a rapid arms race, heightened the chances of conflict. These factors, among others, intertwined to create a complex web of circumstances that ultimately led to the outbreak of World War II in 1939. European theater. Battle of Britain, 1940. The air campaign over Britain, where the Royal Air Force successfully defended against German attacks. Eastern Front. The conflict between Germany and the Soviet Union, marked by major battles such as Stalingrad and Kursk. Western Front, D-Day, 1944, marked the Allied invasion of Normandy, leading to the liberation of Western Europe from German occupation. Pacific Theater. Attack on Pearl Harbor, 1941. Japan's surprise attack on the U.S. Pacific Fleet, bringing the United States into the war. Battle of Midway, 1942. A decisive naval battle between the U.S. and Japan, shifting the balance in favor of the Allies. Island Hopping Campaign. Allied strategy to capture strategic Pacific islands and move closer to Japan. African and Middle Eastern fronts. North African Campaign. Battles between the Allies, led by the British Eighth Army, and Axis forces, including the Battle of El Alamein. Italian Campaign. Allied operations in Italy, culminating in the capture of Rome in 1944. Asian Theater. Burma Campaign. Allied efforts to counter Japanese advances in Burma and Southeast Asia. China-Burma-India Theater. Operations to support China against Japanese aggression. Air campaigns. Strategic bombing. Intensive bombing campaigns by both Allies and Axis powers, targeting industrial and civilian areas. Doolittle Raid, 1942. U.S. air raid on Tokyo, boosting Allied morale after early defeats. Naval warfare. Battle of the Atlantic, naval warfare in the Atlantic Ocean, involving German U-boats and Allied convoys. Battle of Leyte Gulf, 1944. Largest naval battle in history, securing the Philippines for the Allies. Occupation and resistance. Resistance movements. Civilian resistance against Axis occupation in various countries, such as the French resistance. Occupation of territories, Axis occupation of European countries, and Allied liberation efforts. Holocaust and genocide. Holocaust. Systematic genocide by Nazi Germany, resulting in the mass murder of 6 million Jews and others. Nanjing Massacre, 1937-1938. Mass killings and atrocities committed by Japanese forces in Nanjing, China. These operations and fronts collectively shaped the course of World War II, involving a wide range of theaters and strategies. Side effects of war on people, societies, and the global economy. Civilian casualties. Millions of civilians lost their lives due to bombings, massacres, and other forms of violence. Cities and infrastructure were heavily damaged, leading to widespread displacement and homelessness. Economic impact. War resulted in immense economic losses globally, with countries devoting substantial resources to military efforts. Reconstruction efforts strained post-war economies, leading to financial challenges for many nations. Displacement and refugees. Millions of people were forced to flee their homes, becoming refugees and facing the challenges of displacement. Refugee crises emerged as a consequence, with nations struggling to accommodate and provide for displaced populations. Trauma and mental health. The war left a lasting impact on the mental health of individuals, leading to widespread trauma and psychological scars. The effects of war-induced trauma extended beyond the conflict period, affecting generations. Role of women. Women played a crucial role in the workforce, taking on jobs traditionally held by men who were serving in the military. The war contributed to changing perceptions of gender roles, paving the way for women's increased participation in various fields. Children and education. Children faced the brunt of the conflict, with many losing their lives, homes, or family members. Educational systems were disrupted, and children's access to education was severely limited in war-torn areas. Genocide and war crimes. The war witnessed heinous acts of genocide, such as the Holocaust, resulting in the systematic extermination of millions of innocent people. War crimes committed by various parties further intensified the human suffering. Medical advances and challenges. The war stimulated medical advancements driven by the urgent need for improved battlefield medicine. However, medical challenges, including the spread of diseases in crowded and unsanitary conditions, posed significant threats. Post-war rebuilding. The post-war period required extensive rebuilding efforts, with nations focusing on reconstructing infrastructure and recovering from the economic downturn. International organizations like the United Nations were established to promote global cooperation and prevent future conflicts. Legacy of the atomic bombings. The atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki left a lasting impact on the affected populations, causing immediate casualties and long-term health issues. The bombings also marked the beginning of the nuclear age, with implications for global security and arms control. The repercussions of World War II were profound and multifaceted, shaping the course of history and influencing the post-war world in various ways. Impact of Hitler on World War II. Adolf Hitler, as the leader of Nazi Germany, played a central role in shaping the course and impact of World War II. His influence on the war can be analyzed through various aspects. Aggressive expansionist policies. Hitler's aggressive territorial ambitions, evident in actions such as the invasion of Poland in 1939, triggered the start of World War II. The pursuit of Lebensraum, living space, for the Aryan race drove Germany's expansionist policies. Blitzkrieg tactics. Hitler's military strategies, including the Blitzkrieg lightning war tactics, allowed for swift and overwhelming attacks. Rapid invasions of countries like France and the Low Countries showcased the effectiveness of these tactics. Holocaust and genocide. Hitler's ideology fueled the Holocaust, resulting in the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews and millions of others. The atrocities committed in concentration camps left an indelible mark on the war's history. Totalitarian rule and propaganda. Hitler established a totalitarian regime, consolidating power through suppression of opposition and control of all aspects of German society. Propaganda, led by figures like Joseph Goebbels, played a crucial role in shaping public perception and promoting Nazi ideology. Axis alliance and strategic errors. Hitler's alliances with Italy and Japan formed the Axis powers, leading to a global conflict. Strategic errors, such as invading the Soviet Union and declaring war on the United States, expanded the scope of the conflict. Impact on Eastern Front. The Eastern Front, where Germany faced the Soviet Union, witnessed some of the most brutal battles of the war. The failure to capture Moscow and the harsh winter conditions contributed to Germany's eventual defeat on the Eastern Front. Anti-Semitic policies and racial purity. Hitler's anti-Semitic policies extended beyond the Holocaust, influencing laws and practices that targeted Jews and other minority groups. The pursuit of racial purity and the Aryan master race shaped domestic and foreign policies. Declaration of war and expansion in Europe. Hitler's aggressive actions led to the declaration of war by Allied powers, including the United Kingdom and France. The conquest of numerous European nations showcased Germany's military capabilities. Legacy of destruction and devastation. Hitler's leadership left a legacy of widespread destruction, particularly in cities bombed during the war. The impact of his policies and decisions had profound and lasting effects on the European continent. Adolf Hitler's influence on World War II was multifaceted, encompassing military strategies, ideological pursuits, and devastating consequences. His actions significantly contributed to the scale and nature of the conflict, leaving a dark imprint on the history of the war. The end of World War II and its effects on the world. The conclusion of World War II marked a transformative period in global history, with profound effects on nations, societies, and international relations. Here are key aspects of the post-war era and the role of the United Nations in peacekeeping and world reconstruction. Formation of the United Nations, UN. The United Nations was established in 1945 to promote international cooperation, prevent future conflicts, and facilitate post-war reconstruction. It replaced the League of Nations and aimed to provide a platform for diplomatic dialogue and collective security among member states. Peacekeeping and conflict resolution. The UN played a pivotal role in peacekeeping efforts, deploying missions to regions affected by conflicts to maintain stability and facilitate negotiations. Peacekeeping operations addressed disputes, monitored ceasefires, and supported the restoration of peace in war-torn areas. Universal Declaration of Human Rights. The UN adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948, establishing a set of fundamental human rights that should be universally protected. This declaration laid the foundation for international human rights law and emphasized the dignity and equality of all individuals. Decolonization and independence movements. The post-war period witnessed significant decolonization as former colonies sought independence from imperial powers. The UN played a role in supporting self-determination and guiding the transition to sovereignty for many newly independent nations. Reconstruction efforts. The UN participated in global reconstruction efforts, coordinating assistance programs and aiding war-torn countries in rebuilding their economies and infrastructure. International collaboration under UN auspices facilitated the recovery of nations devastated by the war. Nuremberg Trials. The Nuremberg Trials, held from 1945 to 1946, were a series of military tribunals that prosecuted major war criminals for crimes against humanity. These trials set important precedents for holding individuals accountable for war crimes and established the principle of individual responsibility. Cold War and the division of Europe. The post-war period saw the emergence of the Cold War, a geopolitical rivalry between the United States and the Soviet Union. Europe became divided along ideological lines, with the establishment of NATO in the West and the Warsaw Pact in the East. Global economic institutions. The UN contributed to the creation of global economic institutions such as the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and the World Bank to promote economic stability and development. These institutions aim to prevent financial crises and facilitate the reconstruction of war-torn economies. Security Council and collective security. The UN Security Council, with its permanent and rotating members, became a central mechanism for maintaining international peace and security. Collective security measures, including sanctions and peacekeeping missions, were employed to address conflicts and prevent aggression. Legacy of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The devastating impact of the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki prompted international efforts to control nuclear weapons. The UN played a role in nuclear disarmament discussions, advocating for non-proliferation and arms control. The aftermath of World War II saw the establishment of a new world order, shaped by the efforts of the United Nations to foster peace, promote human rights, and guide the reconstruction of nations devastated by the conflict. Thank you, dear viewers, for joining us on this expedition through the corridors of World War II. As we wrap up our journey, the echoes of the past resonate, reminding us of the sacrifices made and the enduring spirit of humanity. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. Your support fuels our passion for unraveling the complexities of history. Share your thoughts and reflections in the comments below. We love hearing from our community. Stay tuned for more captivating explorations into the annals of time. Until next time, this is Green Podcast, signing off, wishing you knowledge, understanding, and a deep appreciation for the lessons history imparts.